Okay, so welcome to this video, which is part of a series of videos on how to write a function in C++. So essentially today we are simply writing a function about swapping codes. So we are simply going to discuss the example here, but the requirements of the function can be seen already here. And they are also going to be in the description of the video. So essentially, what we want to implement is simply a function which swaps cards. The function takes two integers, as can be seen here, and then the function, what it does is that it swaps this number here with this number here, and then compares the resulting numbers, like here. And if the first parameter after the swap is greater than the second parameter, then the player 1 wins, otherwise player 2 wins. So that's pretty much what we are going to implement in the following function. So we're going to first start by creating an enum. We're going to call this enum player, and then we're going to have player 1, player 2, and then we're going to have something like draw, something like that. And then here the function therefore returns player. The function's name is swap cards. The function takes two integers. So we have here int player 1, and then we're going to have here int player 2. Okay. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is that you want to first start with some error handling. So essentially, from reading the requirements of the function, it is clear that the function cannot have negative numbers as parameters. So if it does, then an exception must be thrown. So we can write here if player 1 is less than 0 or player 2 is less than 0. So we can throw an exception here, std runtime exception. Runtime because this exception can only be detected at runtime. So we can have here so what message can we write here? We can write so we can write something like inputs cannot be negative numbers. Cannot be negative numbers. Okay, so I think we should change the name here to, we can call this one card 1. I think that's more convenient. Card 1 here and card 2. Also here card 1. And here card 2. I think that's more convenient and more explanatory. Okay, so then after doing this, so what we want to do now is proceed with the swapping of the numbers. So first convert the integer card values into strings. That's the first thing you want to do so that we can break them down and then actually do the swapping. So we're gonna have a cd string here. We're gonna call this one card1 str is equal to, we're gonna use a toString function from C++11 to actually do the conversion. So we're gonna have here simply card1 converts that into a string, and then also you're gonna have a cd string here. You're gonna have here card2 str is equal to std string, std toString, sorry, and then here we simply pass card2. Alright, so so now that the cards, both cards are now strings, we can now then separate the different digits from both cards, which are two-digit numbers from the requirements here. Two-digit numbers. Okay, so what we can write now is so we can write here break down the cards into individual digits. Okay, so here we can have std string. We can have here card1 str lowest number. Okay, so this one will be equal to, so we first do this one here, std string just for the conversion because this is the character that we're going to get. So this is card1 str, and then here 1. This is the lowest number. So for example, card1 can be, for example, 19. So if converted to a string, it becomes something like this. And then to get the lowest number, which is this one here, it is at the index 1, because the string is just like an array. It's an array of characters, and the first element of an array, so it's always at index 0. So this one is at index 0. And then here, 9 will be the lowest number, or the lowest digit. And then it's going to be at index 1. So we have 1 here. Okay, so similarly, you have to this string. So you have card1 str. So this is called the 10th digit. And this is again std string for the conversion to string. And then here you have plus card1 str 0. This is to get the 10th digit, which is essentially this one here. Okay, so that's essentially for card1. And we pretty much do the same thing for card2. So I'm simply gonna copy this one and then paste it here and simply change from card1 to card2. And also here. Okay, so now that the strings have been the card strings have been broken down, so now we can proceed by doing the swapping. So we can have swapping of the cards. So we can have here, so we can directly here have new card one equal to, we're going to do directly the conversion string to integer, and then here we create the new string. First of all, the swap is about swapping this number with this one here. So for the first new card, this one remains the same, which is essentially the 10th digit here remains the same. Then here we have plus, and then here we have now the lowest number, or the lowest digit is essentially the 10th digit of the second number. So essentially this one. Okay, so then we again also have int new card2 equal to again std s2i, and then here for the second number we first have this one here becomes the lowest number of the first number, so essentially this one here, then plus, and then this one here is essentially the same, so it's still the lowest number of the second number, of the second card, sorry. Okay, this one here. Okay, so now the swap is complete. So now we simply check the winner. So we simply check the winner. We simply do here if new card 1 equal new card 2. Here we return draw. We have else if new card 1 is greater than new card 2, and then here we return the player 1 is the winner. And then if it's neither player 1 nor the draw, then it has to be player 2. So it's returned directly. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the function really. It's not a difficult function, it's quite simple as a function. Yeah, so now I'm just going to proceed with the testing of the function. So let's test the function with some function calls. Of course, takes place in a cache block, in a trying cache block, so that if an exception is thrown in the cache block, it gets caught by the cache block and then handled. So this is std runtime error reference, and you have here error, and here you have std cout here, you have error what, and here std inline. Okay, so here we simply call the function now. So we have swap cards, and then we pass two numbers, just like in the example, 41 and 79, for example, 41, 79. Okay, and then we want to store the result, so we're gonna have here player equal to player. So yeah, and then now we simply check the winner. So you have here switch player, So we have here case, player 1. So you just write a message now. You simply say that player 1 has won. Player 1 has won the round. And then here we go with break. Okay, this is enough already to test the function because the winner is player 1 after the swap that takes place here. So let's just verify that. Yeah, player 1 has won the round. So now let's just copy this one, paste it, and then just do some modification, and then also modify the function call so that player 2 can actually also win. So player 2 is this one. So if you wanted to win, we can just swap the values. So we have 79 now here. So the winner now should be player 2. Yeah, player 2 has won the round. And of course, if you want them to be equal, if you want to have a draw, you simply pass two similar numbers, and then you have a draw. Okay, this says here player 1 has won. That's an error. So you have 41 and 41. That's an error. Well, actually, it's not an error, actually. If I actually do the swap, I have 44 and 11. It's actually not an error. It's actually not an error, sorry. Player 1 still wins because of the swap. So this one here comes actually here, so it's 44. And then this one here comes here, so it becomes 11. So it's 44 and 11, and player 1 still wins. That makes sense. That makes sense. I wanted to simulate a draw, but I don't know if I can because there's a swap that always takes place. So yeah. Yeah, but the function works. The function works. So I'm just gonna have third one here. It's a draw. And just right here. It is a draw. Something like that. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. The function works fine. Yeah, and it's a very simple function also. I'm just a bit confused with the swapping thing actually, but yeah. Here with this particular example, the player 1 still wins because of the swap. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching and bye bye.